I gave the poor alien girl my food, and then her mother came. The settlement on Vega, for it was not a place of abundance. When the colonization fleet first touched down on the pale green world, hopes had been high. From orbit, it looked like a jewel. Wide oceans, sprawling plains, and lush forests that shimmered under a turquoise sky. But after a decade of settlement, the truth had set in Vega, for it was not generous. Its soils resisted earth crops, its waters were heavy with minerals that fouled human digestion, and its ecosystem teemed with native life that was beautiful, yes, but indifferent, sometimes hostile, to the human presence. The colony was under rations. Each family received exactly what they needed from the central dispensers, not a gram more. I had learned to chew slowly, to drink water between bites, and to pretend I wasn't still hungry after the tray was empty. That day, I left the distribution hub with my weekly packet tucked under my arm. Sealed protein bars, powdered nutrient mix, and a few strips of something the council insisted was meat. The path home wound along the edge of the settlement, where the prefabs gave way to scrubland. And there, crouched in the shade of a broken wall, I saw her. She was small, her limbs thin, her eyes enormous and luminous in her pale face. A child, though not human, an alien girl. She wore scraps of woven fibers, frayed and stained, and her chest heaved with shallow breaths. She looked at me with an expression I knew too well. Hunger. We weren't supposed to interact with them. The natives of Vega, for called the Veari, kept mostly to themselves, appearing rarely at the colony's borders. Official policy said they were to be observed but not engaged. The council feared cultural contamination, political entanglements, or worse. But seeing her there, gaunt and trembling, something inside me overruled policy. I sat down slowly, so as not to startle her, and opened my ration pack. I tore one of the bars in half and held it out. Her nostrils flared as if she were smelling it. For a long moment she did not move, only staring at me with those wide, shimmering eyes. Then, like a creature too long denied, she snatched the bar from my hand and devoured it in frantic bites. I let her finish before offering her another piece. She ate that, too, slower this time, watching me between mouthfuls. When she was done, she wiped her mouth with the back of her delicate hand and whispered something in her own tongue. Soft, musical syllables I couldn't understand, but whose meaning was plain. Thank you. That was when the ground trembled. From the scrub beyond the wall, a figure emerged, taller than any human, wrapped in flowing fabric patterned with iridescent scales. Her presence was overwhelming. Her skin glowed faintly in the dim light. Her long hair shimmered with shifting colors, and in her hand she carried a staff crowned with crystal. The child's mother. Her eyes locked onto me, piercing, luminous, ancient. I froze, my half-empty ration pack still open in my lap. The alien woman stepped forward, each stride deliberate. The child cried out and rushed to her, clutching at the fabric of her garment. The mother bent, placed a protective hand on her daughter's head, then looked back at me. Human, she said. The word was rough, accented, but unmistakably in my language. I swallowed hard. She was hungry. I only wanted to help. The mother's gaze lingered on the food still in my hand. She considered me, silent, as though weighing something far larger than the simple act of sharing a meal. Finally, she spoke again. You fed my child. It wasn't a question. It was a statement, one that carried the gravity of ritual. Yes, I said. Her eyes narrowed. Do you understand what you have done? I shook my head. The woman's staff struck the earth with a dull thud, and the air around her seemed to hum. Among the Veari, to feed the young of another is to claim responsibility. You have bound yourself to her. You are her protector now. And by extension, you are bound to me. The weight of a promise. I stumbled back, heart racing. Wait, I didn't know. But the child clung to her mother, staring at me with wide, hopeful eyes. She looked less afraid now, more certain, as though my single act of kindness had changed something fundamental in her world. The mother studied me with a strange mixture of sternness and curiosity. Ignorance does not break the bond. You gave freely. You are marked. I'm just a colonist, I protested. I can't take responsibility for her. You already have, she said. And with that, she turned, guiding her daughter back into the scrub. I stood there for a long time after they vanished, ration pack still clutched in my hand, my pulse hammering. Days of watching. Over the next few days, I couldn't get the girl out of my mind. The settlement continued its routine, ration queues, work shifts, maintenance checks, endless reports to the council. But I found myself looking toward the edges of the colony, searching for a glimpse of her. And then, one evening, I saw them again. The girl appeared first, watching me from a distance. When I knelt and placed another ration bar on the ground, she darted forward, snatched it, and retreated. Her mother followed, silent and watchful. This became a pattern. Each evening, I would bring a little food, sometimes from my own share, sometimes barter from others, and leave it where the girl could take it. And always, her mother observed, saying little but never leaving. One night, as I prepared to go, the mother spoke again. You share though you have little. I nodded. She needs it more than I do. Her gaze softened, just barely. The bond grows stronger. I didn't know what that meant, not fully, but I felt it. The trouble with the council. It wasn't long before others noticed. Rations were strictly counted, and the fact that mine were vanishing drew suspicion. My neighbor, a stern man named Harker, confronted me. You're trading, aren't you? Or hoarding? I've seen you slip away at night. I'm not hoarding, I insisted. But when he pressed further, I said nothing. Some things couldn't be explained, not without risking the aliens or myself. Soon enough, the council summoned me. They asked pointed questions. Where was my food going? Why did I linger near the scrublands? Had I spoken to the natives? I lied, clumsily, but it seemed to satisfy them, for the moment. Still, I could feel suspicion tightening around me like a noose. The mother's warning. One night, when I met them again, the alien mother approached closer than before. Her eyes glowed in the starlight. Your people watch you, she said. I blinked. How do you know that? We see more than you think. The Watchers think you betray them. Soon they will act. A chill ran down my spine. What should I do? She tilted her head. The bond ties you not only to my child, but to my people. If you are threatened, we will not ignore it. Her words held promise and danger both. The breaking point. It happened 2 weeks later. The council guards followed me one evening, caught me leaving food on the ground. Harker was with them, smug, certain he'd been right all along. What is this? The captain demanded. Collaboration? Before I could answer, the girl stepped from the shadows, and then her mother appeared, taller, brighter, carrying her staff. The guards raised their rifles. Stand down, I shouted. She's not attacking. But the mother's staff struck the earth, and light flared outward. The guards staggered back, weapons crackling uselessly. You threatened the bonded, she said, her voice like rolling thunder. He is under my protection. The captain gaped. What is this? And suddenly I understood. My simple act of kindness had forged something far larger than I had realized. A bridge between our peoples. A new beginning. The standoff did not end in bloodshed. Somehow, word prevailed. The council, shaken by the display of alien power, agreed to negotiations. The Veari, through the mother, offered cautious dialogue. It was not easy. Suspicion ran deep, and fear even deeper. But the image of a human feeding a starving child carried weight. It was hard to argue against compassion. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, rules shifted. Food was shared in small amounts. Knowledge exchanged. The girl often accompanied her mother to the edge of the colony, and sometimes she smiled at me, a smile full of life, no longer hollowed by hunger. And me? I was no longer just another colonist. I had become something else, a symbol, unwilling perhaps, but necessary. The final meeting. One evening, as the sun set in bands of gold and green, the mother approached me alone. The bond between us will fade as my child grows strong again, she said. But the path it opened remains. You chose to give when you had little. That choice will shape what comes. I nodded. I didn't do it for politics. I just couldn't watch her starve. Her lips curved in something almost like a smile. And that is why it mattered. She turned to leave, but paused, her staff glinting in the last light. Remember this, human. Sometimes the smallest gift carries the weight of worlds. And then she was gone. Epilogue. Years later, the colony thrived, not by conquering Vega, but by learning to live alongside its people. Trade flourished, cultures intertwined, and the air of scarcity gave way to cautious abundance. And sometimes when I saw children, human and Veari, sharing food at the edge of the settlement, I remember the day I first tore a ration bar in half and placed it in a trembling hand. I had thought it a small kindness, but it had changed everything.